student of late 20th century history, he knew that your generation of young African Americans would be characterized by genius and greatness. But he knew of the terrible ancient force of self-destruction tearing at you like some incurable disease. And so he knew what he had to do. He would travel back in time and deliver a message, tell you how important you were in the grand scheme that would give rise to an incredible new civilization. Because of the incredible physical forces involved, no human could actually travel personally back in time. Instead, a system was developed utilizing a form of holographic representation tied to human consciousness. The result was a ghostly form that could see and be seen, but could not touch or be touched. It was this hologrammatic twin that ℌ𝔞𝔫𝔦𝔣 would send back into the 20th century. But once there, where would he go? How would he get his message across? The archive spoke of a video program known as Teen Summit and a legendary group of ancient ones on a quest for truth and knowledge. They are referred to in the historical chronicles simply as the Posse.
Greetings to you here at Summit. My name is Dr. ℌ𝔞𝔫𝔸 I am from the year 2050. I am a scientist. I have perfected a system of time travel that has allowed me to come here in 1990 to Teen Summit to meet the Posse and you, and to deliver a message to your viewers.
One that you must have in your home. It's a video cassette containing everything that we're talking about tonight and much, much more. In fact, the title of it is Russia, World War III and Armageddon. We're going to take a break right now and tell you how you can receive this very exciting offer.
Can the world live in peace? Will the collapse of communism spell the end of war and strife? Does glasnost and perestroika mean that Russia has really changed? Dr. Jack Van Impe says no. Known as the Walking Bible and one of America's foremost prophecy scholars, he has prepared a shocking videotape that reveals the truth about Russia, World War III, and Armageddon. Using careful historical research and thorough biblical documentation, Dr. Van Impe shows how current international events signal the approach of the world's greatest military confrontation and the return of Jesus Christ. See the truth with your own eyes on this powerful video. You'll also receive a full-color, 22 by 17-inch study map of the prophetic and historic developments leading to Armageddon and the end of time. Will Russia invade Israel? When? Why? What is presently preventing World War III? Find the answers in this explosive videotape, Russia, World War III, and Armageddon. To order your copy, call the toll-free number on your screen and have your credit card ready.
Learn how today's news relates to biblical prophecies thousands of years old. Ray Brubaker traces current world events to their ancient prophecies. Join him weekly in God's News Behind the News for the real truth about today's news. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, on PTL, the Inspirational Network.
The horrors that Nazism dreamed of, communism has accomplished. It, indeed, is the ultimate evil that this world has ever seen, and it must be removed. Therefore, it's vital that Americans and Christians especially not be deceived as to what communism is. Only today, I heard some people on television talking about what a wonderful thing communism really was. But I would like for you to hear today from a man who knows it intimately, beyond the rhetoric, beyond the facade, the reality of what communism really means. Reverend Harlan Popov was the outstanding Protestant minister in Bulgaria until he was captured by the communists and spent some 14 years in a communist prison, enduring tortures that are beyond description. I want you, every Christian in this country, to read this book, this intimate account of what it means to come face to face with red communism.
Since Oral Roberts took his sermons from the tent to TV in 1954, part of his message has always been, something good is going to happen to you. Last Sunday, he told his audience something bad was going to happen to him unless they came up with $4.5 million.
I need some very quick money. I mean, I need it now. I am desperate to turn this around. I need to turn it around enough so I'll know when March comes, I won't be taken. I'll get to live.
Roberts claims God has mandated him to raise money for a missionary project. He says God has told him if he doesn't, he'll die. His $500 million Tulsa-based evangelical empire is in trouble. The university's dental school has closed, the law school given away, and the medical center, built to hold 777 patients, rarely treats more than 100 at a time. The hospital is in so much financial trouble, it now offers to fly patients here for free if they have insurance to pay for their stay. Roberts is still one of the biggest employers in Tulsa, and critics here have been hard to find. But this latest call for cash has changed all that.
People don't like the idea from the letters and calls we're getting that he has put a price tag, or God has put a price tag on his head.
Oral Roberts wouldn't talk with us, but his son did.
My father is not a person that uses scare tactics or fear tactics, but he does tell people what God speaks.
But fewer and fewer people are hearing Oral's message. He's lost more than half his TV audience in the last 10 years, and critics charge he's exploiting those who remain.
These people have made a connection to him, and he's exploiting these people now, probably with the ultimate device you could imagine. That's emotional blackmail.
Please help me.
Oral Roberts has always promised faith can make miracles happen. Now, faith is not enough. He says only money.
Please forgive me for sinning against you. And to the hundreds of millions that I have stood before in over 100 countries of the world, and I've looked into the cameras, and so many of you with a heart of loneliness, needing help, have reached out to the minister of the gospel as a beacon of light. You that are nameless, most I will never be able to see you except by faith. I have sinned against you. I beg you, forgive me. And most of all, to my Lord and my Savior, my Redeemer, the one whom I serve and I love and I worship. I bow at his feet, who has saved me and washed me and cleansed me. I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness, never to be remembered against me anymore. I say unto you that watch me today, through his mercy, his grace, and his love, the sin of which I speak is not a present sin, it is a past sin. I know that so many would ask, why? Why? I have asked myself that 10,000 times, through 10,000 tears. Maybe Jimmy Swaggart has tried to live his entire life as if though he was not human. And I have thought that with the Lord, knowing he is omnipotent and omniscient, that there was nothing I could not do. And I emphasize with his help and his guidance. And I think this is the reason, in my limited knowledge, that I did not find the victory I sought. Because I did not seek the help of my brother and my sister in the Lord. I've had to come to the realization this gospel is flawless, even though it is ministered at times by flawed men. If I had sought the help of those that love me with their added strength, I look back now and I know that victory would have been mine. They have given me strength along with the compassion of our Savior in these last few days that I had needed for a long, long time. Many ask, as I close this, will the ministry continue? Yes, the ministry will continue. Stand against you. And I have brought disgrace and humiliation and embarrassment upon you. I beg your forgiveness.
Swaggart didn't detail his sin, and a Louisiana Assemblies of God official suggested he resist the desire to respond to questions. He also asked the congregation not to speculate about it. The scandal broke open late last week following a trip by Swaggart to the Assemblies of God national headquarters in Springfield, Missouri. There have been reports since Friday that church officials in Springfield reviewed photographs supposedly showing Swaggart entering and leaving a hotel room with a prostitute. Today, Swaggart neither confirmed nor denied any of that, but he accepted the blame for a sin described by a colleague as a moral failure.
I have no one but myself to blame. I do not lay the fault or the blame or the charge at anyone else's feet. For no one is to blame but Jimmy Swaggart. I take the responsibility. I take the blame. I take the fault.
The latest round in TV's Holy Wars began last fall when another disgraced TV minister, Marvin Gorman, reportedly got the incriminating pictures of Swaggart and the alleged prostitute. The intriguing story of how that all came about will appear in this week's Newsweek magazine, and it was written by feature writer George Hackett. George, what is the story?
Well, Gorman got some anonymous tips to the effect that Swaggart was seeing a prostitute. He hired a detective who followed Swaggart, went to a motel where Swaggart entered with the prostitute, photographed that entry, and then called Gorman up and told him, if you want to catch him, get on down here. And Gorman went down.
Now, this all allegedly happened last October. Why were the photographs held until now?
According to our sources, Gorman claims that he held onto the pictures trying to get Swaggart to come clean on his own privately, to humble himself. When this didn't happen, he felt he had no choice but to give the photos over to the Assemblies of God.
Was all this a setup? Gorman had an axe to grind because Swaggart had made allegations about him. Is that not true?
No one's talked to Gorman yet. He's not talking, but people within the Assemblies of God do not think that Gorman did this deliberately to get Swaggart out at this point.
Now, the church elders still have to decide what kind of action to take against Swaggart. What do you anticipate, having worked this story, is going to happen now?
According to the bylaws of the Assemblies of God, an adultery act must be followed by a 2-year suspension from preaching, essentially, which would mean that Swaggart would be off the air for 2 full years. They might be a little bit more lenient with him because he is worth a lot of money to that church. He gave $12 million to them last year. He's the most prominent preacher of the Assemblies of God, and in fact in television evangelism. So
he is responsible for raising millions every year.
$150 million.
With these latest allegations, George, is it possible for the TV ministry to survive?
This is a bigger blow even than Jim and Tammy Baker. If they were the ministries are still reeling after that event, and it just remains to be seen whether someone can go off the air and come back again. It's never happened before.
Is running out of those sores. And he's sitting there, and he's wanting just some scraps from the table. And he's using some chips to scrape the pus out of his sores. His whole body is in anguish. Notice what happens. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover the dogs came and licked his sores. That old scavenger flea hound dog came up, had more compassion on this beggar than the rich man did, and these dogs came up and they licked the sores of this poor old beggar. What a comforting thing to do. I imagine the people stood back. Oh, he's a beggar. Don't get near him. You might get some of that disease.